Yes, this is Natasha, aka Natty Willie, and welcome to another episode of TV Talk with Natasha and Kim. Say hi, Kim.
Hi, everybody.
Yay! So, we are going to be talking about Grimm, which was last Friday, which was an OMG episode. Then we'll be talking about The Following, which was an OMG episode. And then we're going to talk about Teen Wolf, which was an OMG episode. So we got a lot to talk about. Kim, let's get started.
We do have a lot to talk about. So, Grimm, you know what? Grimm was broken up into, well, it was broken up into three different parts. Now, I think the story with Monroe and Rosalie took up the majority of the time. Then you've got the case. There's always a case that took up a good part of time, and a little bit of Adeline visiting Hogwarts, because that castle looked exactly like Hogwarts. Hogwarts is in Vienna, ladies and gentlemen.
We should know, right? We went on the Harry Potter tour.
For real. I think they probably use the same bottle or something, but I think we can discuss Adeline's and get it over with in like 30 seconds. So what happened with Adeline? Her baby looks full grown, even though it's been 6 months, and it's trying to literally push its way out like aliens.
Yeah. I saw the hand. I'm like, ooh, Lord. Yeah.
And then the face looked like a skull.
Oh, it did. I felt bad for the baby because she is trying to kill it to get her powers back. So you gotta feel bad for the baby.
Is she trying to kill it? I thought she was trying. I thought that putting that blood stuff on it was trying to help it.
No. I think through killing the baby, she gets her powers back.
That's absolutely horrific. Well, I know that I took one look at her and I was like, yeah, I don't feel like going through that. That doesn't look like fun at all.
No, she looked like she was in pain.
Very much so. So that's basically all that happened with Adeline. We didn't see it that much. Hopefully she pops this kid out soon and gets her powers back, and then we can talk about her more. Moving on to, the case was just kind of standard. Wait. Hold
up. We had a little bit of a cameo again, featuring the new prince.
Yeah, Wesley. It's so funny. He has a kind of like a British accent, but he's in Vienna, and he's I don't know what's going on there.
But he's getting a little suspicious of Adeline, and it's like he wants the baby too. So Renard's like, we need to do something about Adeline and kidnap her. Oh, and his friend gave him the heads up that the guy that was with him in Vienna has been made out by the prince. So now they're kind of after him. So they're going to have to move quick if they're going to kidnap Adeline and try and put her in a safe place.
Yeah, it's he's a lot smarter. He realizes something's up, and they figured out that she could be carrying either Renard's kid or Eric's kid. So,
that was a no-brainer.
Yeah. Well, I guess unless you know how Adeline is, which he wouldn't know. So
he knows enough. He's been watching her, for crying out loud.
Yeah, but she hasn't been. But she found out about the cameras pretty early and was kind of like. It's not like she's been visiting like guys' rooms or anything like that. So, and I know that he hasn't seen her with Renard. So, I think because his friend was like, yeah, they used to talk, and he also used to talk to her mom. Okay.
That's a little bit of twisted.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
We're saving the best for last, so we're going to start with the case.
Yes.
About this Vesson, it just reminded me so much of the one before. Warriors, not afraid of anything, except for they scalped, which was disgusting. I'm like, ew, Grimm.
Yeah, and also did you have to go after guys of authority? That one, the beret guy that he went after, that was the second person that he killed. I'm like, at least he got a few licks in, but dang, I didn't want him to go like that, man, get scalped and whatnot. And the police officer, you felt kind of bad for him because he's just on patrol. He just doing his job, and then he gets killed like that for no reason, just so you can feel like you're a warrior. No.
How is he not worthy? I want to know. He beat him up a couple times, and the guy got up off the ground and said, "You're not worthy." I'm like, what's your definition of worthy? Because you just got up off the ground. and he beat you up. So it was really weird, and it was really disgusting that he was making like a jacket out of those scalps. I was like, oh,
Yeah, talk about a fashion trend that I do not want to be a part of.
that was so sick.
That was that was gross.
I'm trying to think about interesting things that happened with the case. I mean, in the beginning, you see Juliet get a response from Nick's mom. You know, Nick didn't seem really worried about his mom at all. Like, oh, she's just running for her life and trying not to be made fun of. And he was just like,
I
okay.
think he's concerned, but what he's more concerned about is Juliet getting in the middle of it because this was one of the things that he was worried about with Juliet knowing everything, that she would somehow get in the middle and that his enemies would know about her and use her to get to him.
Yeah, well, that's what happens, you know, when you get, I mean, if you're going to marry her, that's going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to happen anyway, whether you're a cop and you catch somebody that has connections that could go after your family, that kind of a thing. So I mean, it would have mattered either way. He's screwed as a Grimm and he's screwed as a cop. So there you go.
True that. Anything really special about this we should bring up? I didn't think there was anything really special about the
No,
case.
because the major part is like the save the best for last. Like,
Yeah, let's go right into it. Well, I mean, I thought, but you know what? The first thing I wrote down in my notes was Monroe looks good in a suit. He looks good in a suit. I thought it was really cute how he proposed. What did you think?
it was adorable. It was perfect. It was Monroe to a T. That I couldn't have imagined something any better. Like, he wined her, he dined her, and he gave her, he showed her like the clock, and the clock, I can't remember what those kinds of clocks are. I remember it in Pinocchio. Yeah, the cuckoo clock. And it brought out the ring, and it said, "Will you marry me?" I was like, ah!
I know that the girl in me just went.
Yes, I know, right? Yeah. The romantic in me was like, oh my gosh.
I know. It was really cute because she was Rosalie was expecting it during dinner, and then when it didn't happen, she's like, okay, well, I guess I'm just gonna go to bed or whatever. And he's like, oh no, I want to show you a clock, and she's all like, okay. So
Yeah,
it was adorable. It really was.
and she looked great. I liked that dress she was wearing.
Yeah, she did. And the big part of it is we get to hear from Monroe's parents. And on the phone, I was thinking, well, what's the deal? Like, they seem fine. Why is he so?
No, you could tell from the phone, especially from his tone and the way that he was talking to them, that there was just something a little off, or that you could tell that maybe the reason why he took so long to tell them, like, you could tell he was avoiding to tell them in the first place. Like, how many things did he not tell his parents until they got there?
Yeah, but here's the weird thing. I don't understand why, because we see how mad they get, but he didn't know that was going to be the issue. He didn't know that they were going to have a problem with her not being the same. They're racist, is what it is. They're I don't know how you say. Yeah, something like that.
West.
But yeah, they didn't like the fact that they were not the same breed. I feel bad about saying that, but she's kind of like a breed because I don't know. They're humans, but she's a cat or dog-ish kind of fox-looking. I don't know.
I thought she's more fox-like and he's more wolf-like, so they're not quite the same species. I mean, they have similar traits in several respects, but at the same time, they're very different. So their concern was, like they mentioned in the episode, like the kids, what they would look like, and they kind of touched on that a little bit a few episodes ago about the different types of the birds and the bees, so to speak, with Vesson.
Yeah, but see, my whole thing is like, why was he so hesitant to tell them? Because he said, honestly, because she was like, you didn't tell them? And he's like, I honestly didn't think they would have a problem with it. So that couldn't have been the reason he was hiding it from them. So what was the reason? Because we didn't really
He had to have known. He had to have known.
I don't know. I was like, man, you're messing up left and right here, Monroe. You didn't
I
tell them they were
thought,
living together. You didn't
I
tell
know,
them.
right? They're traditionalists. So logically, you would think that traditional means with the same species. Like his dad's a meat eater. His mom is like a traditional, seems to be a traditional kind of like housewife, probably even a traditional Vesson or blue bot in every way, shape, or form. And now you have their son, and the dad also kind of like criticized him, like, you messed up with this clock or whatever. So he's obviously a clockmaker, or works in the same trade as Monroe. And so just you could hear little things, and it's like Monroe is just perfectly content to live his own life and not worry about dealing with his parents. Like he loves them, but at the same time, I don't need you to know everything that's going on with me.
Yeah, and now I can see why, and at the very end we see what happens when Nick comes over.
Oh, don't you just love their little like sayings at the end of the episode when they cliffhang us like that?
Yeah,
It, it,
and no thanks to Soshi, thank you very much. So we're gonna have to wait until the end of February to find out what happens. But he
Freaking
basically
Olympics.
figures out that Nick's a Grimm and attacks him, and I think Monroe jumps in the way, and then they fade to black and say, "Oh!" exclamation point, and a bunch of little symbols that represent cursing. It was a
Yeah.
great way to end it. I
Yeah,
thought it was hilarious. I
yeah.
was laughing.
And then you were like, "Oh crap, we gotta wait."
Yeah. And they said after the Olympics, I'm like, ah,
You should have known as soon as they said, something right after the episode, or they cut it the way that they cut it. You knew that they were going to leave us hanging. And of course, the Olympics was coming up, and there was just no way. It's going to be on Channel 4 or NBC, so there's just no way they're going to be able to show new episodes.
yeah. But yeah, it was a good episode. It really was, and I enjoyed it. So let's move on to the following, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
My goodness, this show.
Welcome back, Joe Carroll.
I know. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
You know what's funny is the scene before. This is what I was thinking when it first started. I'm like, the scene that is unraveling in front of me is something of an enigma, because you see Arlene. I'm going to call her Arlene because I don't know what else to call her. I can't remember what her name is, and she will always be Arlene. From
Whatever she's in the future, she will always be known as Arlene.
Exactly. You see her, and obviously she has a relationship with Joe, and her daughter is African American, and I'm like, I don't fully understand what is happening here. It's such an interesting, and they do explain a little bit. I guess she wrote him letters when he was in jail, so I don't know. Like, he found her, or she found, like, it was part of the plan at the end in the lighthouse that she was going to go get him. They're in Arkansas, and
Arkansas.
it's so odd. Isn't it, though?
Oh my gosh. As soon as they introduced the Reverend, I was like, oh, he gonna die.
He is, because he's somewhat of a hypocrite, because I don't know, he's there and he's like, we need to pray, and I'm like, but you're paying for sex, so
And you're eyeing a
little girl.
teenager.
It's so, I'm like, oh yeah, that's,
Yeah, he had to go.
he did, and that got Joe going, I'll tell you what. But
I felt like he was literally getting himself off.
yeah,
Like he was like, oh. I hate describing it like that, but that's exactly what I thought about as he was stabbing him.
I think that was the point. But I mean, and there was a lot of other stuff that happened too, man. You know what? I think, what is it, Mark? I think Mark even thinks Luke is crazy. Like, you see him, like, look at him out of the corner of his eye when he was talking about, when he's talking to the family that he just, like, strangled. So they killed 2 more people.
Mm-hmm.
they spare the son. They just lock him up in a room, but they kill a mother and a father, and they fix this meal, and they sit down and eat like they're eating like a. So something happened when they grew up. Like their family did not do it for them. Something happened.
Nope.
But even when he was talking to like the father and stuff, Mark looked at him sideways. So I'm like,
Yeah, it's interesting because it seems like each episode and each kill, they're like creating scenarios. Like last week it was with the chick or the girl. And I was right, by the way. They showed an encore before they showed the new episode. I called it.
Yeah, you were. Got that right.
And just, they're crazy. I really was concerned about the kid, but then I was like, is this going to be another Joe Jr. situation? But then I was like, okay, fine. They left him alone. They didn't kidnap him or hold him for ransom or just try and initiate him into craziness, which was fine. Although that poor boy is now traumatized.
Yeah. I hope they do backstory because they did a good job with backstory last time. You found out why Emma was the way that she was, like how her mom was. You found out how Pretty Eyes, what was his name? The guy that she killed that was cute. He looked like he was drawn. Well, anyway.
Yeah, I went blank.
Yeah, you found out
and
why
I was upset.
He was the way he is because you see him go home. I hope they do some background on these twins because I want to know. Well, first of all, if that doesn't tell you crazy is genetic, I don't know what does because they're twins and they are both insane.
Why do I feel like they're related to Joe in some way?
I hope not.
Come on now. Sometimes crazy runs in the family, but. Yeah,
sometimes it doesn't. It also could be I guess it's probably a bunch of different things. I mean, we don't know how they were brought up yet. I hope we find out, so maybe that'll explain some. Every time I look at Emma, I think, here's the lead singer of a band called Shiska, and she is the lead singer, and she plays guitar, and it's punk.
Well, even when she had her different hair from season 1, I was thinking the same thing. Like, she looks normal, but at the same time, she could totally be like one of those rock chicks. And now she's rocking the pink hair. I'm actually digging the pink hair.
Yeah, no, it looked pretty cool. She was in Veronica Mars, by the way. But anyway, who wasn't? But it just, and when Matt, Matt, he said, I'm done with you. I'm like, no.
Mike.
I call him Matt. Mike. Cute, Pretty Eyes. That's what I call him too. I call everybody Pretty Eyes because that's what I look at. Eyes. I almost cried. I was like, they can't fight. They have to make up.
It was funny. On Twitter, when I was live tweeting, someone tweeted, I can't quit you, or why can't I quit you? Or something like Brokeback Mountain for Mike and Ryan. I'm like, oh, that's messed up, guys. But it's so true at the same time. But more in a bromance kind of a way versus, I don't know. Who knows at this point?
I feel like Ryan has a death wish. I mean, why would he just go off after them by himself? He didn't want his niece to call in reinforcements or call the cops or anything like that. I'm like, they kill Pete. Well, he didn't know, but first he didn't know it was 2. He finds that out too. But he didn't know it was 2. But still, I mean, I don't know.
And it's a bad idea not to involve the FBI. I mean, because they're going to find out about it. And like Minnie Driver said, they're eventually going to nail him for obstruction if he keeps on acting the way he's acting. And if he's not careful, he's going to bring his niece into trouble. And that's not fair on her, trying to help you out.
I know, they both could get thrown in jail. I mean, that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, at least Mike, he can kind of get maybe maneuver a little bit better. You know what I mean? Like, just talk to the man. It's not that hard, Ryan. I don't know. Maybe he's just trying to push him away because he's not trying to get close again because of what happened last season. Like, he felt like he could talk to both Mike and Agent Parker, and look what happened to Parker, and look what almost happened to Mike. So, I don't know. Maybe he's just doing that on purpose because he doesn't want to feel like responsible for anything happening to them. You know what I mean? So, I don't know.
Yeah. You know what Luke reminds me of? To me, he looks like what the Joker would have been like growing up. That's what I think about when I look at him, because the way he smiles and how crazy he is, I'm like, he is probably the Joker for Halloween, and if he hasn't been, he should be, because he plays crazy well, and he looks like him to me. Like, he does that creepy smile.
And he didn't mind getting shot.
No, in fact, I think he thinks it was awesome. Like, so weird.
Yeah. And okay, so they went after the artist chick or the lady that survived from the first episode, and I don't know what's going to happen with that. I don't want Ryan to get connected again because he's just going to get himself hurt.
Well, she's already got it. She's got the bug now.
I don't care about her. I care about him.
No, but I mean, she's gonna fall for him, and he's not gonna be able to. I mean, he saved her life, mind you. And
it's Kevin Bacon. Like, really? You can't go wrong with Kevin Bacon. I mean, how long has he been in the game? And yeah, it's Kevin Bacon. 6 degrees from Kevin Bacon. I don't know, like.
Right. Yeah, I don't want him to get involved either. But
it's way too soon.
But you know what I did like? We actually saw what Joe has been going through over the last year, because he broke down in front of that reverend. Where he's saying he failed as a husband, as a father, and you can see that he's remorseful about it. So I thought that was interesting.
Well, I think he was even more remorseful about the fact that his plan didn't quite work out the way he wanted.
That's true. But he did. I mean, he looked he looked like he was distraught that he failed as a father. Mind you, you just killed somebody to a girl you're kind of mentoring like a father, and completely destroyed her. I mean, you saw it in her face. So, strike one again against parenting.
Well, I'm sorry. She was already asking about killing, so she was on her way.
Yeah, that's what I felt like too, but she did not. She kept saying, "Don't kill him." Like, it seemed like she was having a problem, like, with that. Even though she was curious about it, that she didn't really want to see it happen. And when you saw her face after it happened, she looked horrified. So she's like, Mom's gonna be mad. You think?
You think? I mean, I thought it was kind of funny though that the Reverend really thought that Joe was Arlene's brother.
Yeah.
Do they look anything alike?
No. Not at all.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Okay, so that was a good episode. On
Craziness.
Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf.
So
Illuminate, or is it Illuminated? I think that was the name of the episode.
You are always with the episode titles, and I never pay attention. It's such a shame.
I try.
I know. Good for you. All right. What did you like about? You go first. What did you like about this episode?
I liked the party. The music was pumping. I was like, can I be there, please? And the paint, I did like the way that she painted Danny. It seemed like symbolic in a way. And those Shadow Warriors, oh my gosh, the sword, the way he pulled the sword out of his body, like it was nothing. And what's going on with Styles? And I like that Kira kind of has a glow, literally, about her. And I thought it was really cool that Scott was able to see her through his red eye vision. Red Alpha Vision in the crowd. Thought that was cool too, and it was so adorable that Derek gave the kids candy, and then he like gave them a little scare at the same time. Good job, Derek.
I actually felt sorry for Isaac in the beginning, um,
Yeah.
because he was really upset, and then I felt bad for not liking him. Um, but
Okay, was it just for those few minutes, and then you were like, oh, I don't like you again?
and then I was over it. And I like he did not want to hide anything from Scott, and I thought that was really cool. I don't know why the dad asked to give him 24 hours, and I'd like to know where the dad was. Um, I
Yeah.
and I want to know why he has that mask. Was he ever one of them, or like did he kill one, or what happened? I want to know
I'm like,
that.
how did you kill one if you did? Like what? Because the mask was broken, so it seemed like he must have been able to do something. And Kira, I think, is the key because she has she deals with light,
And they don't
and
like light.
and they don't like light, so they're definitely gonna go after her. I'm pretty sure. Um, it's kind of like that light versus dark. Uh, and I was trying to do a little bit of research about foxes and Japanese mythology, and there's like this mythical creature called the Kirasune, and it's like a fox with nine tails, and there's like different variations of stories and of different kinds of powers that they may have, and different types of Karasune, and it's not only in Japanese culture but also in Chinese culture and different like Asian culture, so it's pretty cool. So I'm wondering what they're gonna kind of do with that.
Yeah, me too. I liked, what I kept thinking was, man, Derek's gonna beat every single one of their butts as soon as he gets back. Like I was like, ooh, this is not good. It's at Derek's place. It is not good. And he finds out he's gonna be so mad. He's gonna, I mean, and he was.
Yeah, I mean, and what's so cool is that he didn't even have to use like a microphone or whatever. He just used his voice. I guess that's I guess that's what do you call it?
Where he,
Advantage to being to being a werewolf. You can personify your voice whenever you want. um,
I love Styles, by the way, when he's like 1.21 gigawatts. I'm like, yes, I love it. 1.21 giga. That's like my favorite line in like Back to the Future. So when he said it, I was like geeking out. It was so funny because it was so true. She totally did that, but I don't know why. And he's all like, "You need to stay away from her," and I'm like, "Why though, Styles? She's not bad, but." I don't know if subconsciously he thinks that she is or what's going on inside of his head, but he needs to hashtag close the door.
yeah, he does need to. I was thinking the entire time I was live tweeting, I'm like, wait, I totally forgot the hashtag Kim told me to do. Shame on me, I'm fired.
Yeah, I know. We need to do that. It was really funny how Derek handled those trick-or-treaters where he looked at them
Yeah,
and then he like slowly reached into his car and he pulled out a bag of candy. It was so looking at it was so funny. I mean, like that whole sequence was like hilarious.
well, not only that, just the fact that the little kids were obviously scared. Like they were like, "Oh my gosh, what he's gonna pull out? What he's gonna pull out?" And he just candy. I'm like, okay. But then he was starting to give the look, and then he scared him. Like, they must have heard about him. They must have known where he lived because it was obvious they were already afraid of him in the stories that they hear about Derek Hale. So that was just funny. And of course, he gets himself beat up again and gets a hickey. Oh, there's a hashtag called group hickeys because Isaac had the little number 5, and Aiden. No, it was Ethan, one of the twins, got the same mark. Isaac got the same mark.
Oh, they all did.
Lydia got the same mark. Yeah. Like what? So someone created the hashtag group hickeys, which I thought was cute.
I wonder why they were picking certain people. Like what they were doing. They were staring into his eyes and then they just let him go. And they were obviously after, I have no idea if it was Aiden or Ethan. And he's like, "Why are they all looking at me?" and they all try to attack them, and that didn't work, and they still moved like towards them. So they're like, "We're just gonna let him take you."
I know. Well, when the Shadow Warrior pulled out his sword because Isaac was about to attack too, he quickly backed up. He was like, I ain't gonna mess with that. Yeah, you're on your own, bro. You're on your own. I didn't like you anyway, but you're definitely on your own.
I know. So I'm wondering what they're doing. If they're like reading their mind or something like that,
or taking their soul.
It's like they're trying to find out if they know something. That's why I'm like, what happens when they see Styles? I want to know. They haven't seen Styles yet, and they haven't gone after him.
Yeah, but still, Styles created that code for the shrapnel bomber to go after Kira. So part of his mind is definitely getting worked on by whatever nefarious creature, probably part of the Shadow Warriors. Maybe they're all connected. I don't know. That made him write the code to go after Kira. Like, what's up with that?
Yeah, that's why I want to see an interaction between them and Styles. That's why I want to see that, because I want to see if they're interested in going after Styles, or if they completely ignore him. If they completely ignore him, then well, there you have it. We know who's behind it. But I want to also see like what their reaction is to him, whatever they're doing. I feel like they're reading their minds, but I don't know. So, and I want to know what the 5 is. So, what is this?
Yeah, what does that mean? Yeah. Oh, you know what was really creepy? They took away Lydia's scream. Like she was about to scream, and they took it away. Like they silenced her. That was creepy.
Yeah, I wrote like that was a very awkward position to be frozen in.
Yeah.
Mouth all open.
Yeah, and she totally gave Aiden the cold shoulder because she's like realizing more and more that I was making out with a guy that helped kill another guy, like someone that I liked. Not liked, but like he wasn't a bad guy and you killed him for no reason.
That's the second time they've mentioned that and held it against one of them. So they were mad about Boyd for sure. I want to know why they go cold once they have that interaction with the Shadow Warriors. I wonder what they have to warm up to get back. What is it they're doing that makes them cold? Like
they're taking away their soul.
I don't think it's
pieces of their soul. You know how sometimes a body goes cold? I think it's the same thing. Or some kind of method of hyperthermia. I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out there. I need to do more research.
I think they would act different, though. And if they are taking away a piece of their soul, then they're just screwed. Like, it's...
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they are. They really are. They're just screwed. But I think you would be... Like, if you lost part of your soul, you'd be acting differently, I would think. Like, wouldn't you? I don't know, because it doesn't happen in real life, Kim. Duh, never mind. Forget that I even said that. Okay. So, I know, I'm trying to read too much into it.
Yeah, we're just trying to read too much into it. Okay, I'm a little bit miffed. I'm like, thank you, Kira, for taking out all the power. 1, and 2, why, since you're kind of dealing with electricity a little bit, why can't you charge your own phone?
Yeah, that's what I thought she was gonna do. I was like waiting for it. I was like, I thought she was just gonna like take the plug and go. Bzz. Like that's what I was waiting for. That would have been cool, but she didn't. But the blackout, that's the other thing. They came back during the blackout, so she caused them to come back because I was like, are they afraid of light in general, or are they just afraid of sunlight? But I think they're afraid of light in general because
definitely afraid of daylight.
Light off.
They're definitely afraid of daylight.
Yeah, but when was it Aiden or Ethan? When he was getting ice and the light kept flickering off, it's like they turned those things off, and they didn't seem to have a problem with like the ray because there was no real light in there. There were black lights.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I'd be scared when the sun goes down. I wouldn't even be caught out. Look, they go into your house. Ooh, everybody! I'd be staying in a room with like 13 people.
Well, I'm wondering what happened to the kids. Remember those kids that saw them walk by? Like, did they just totally ignore them because they weren't after them? Like, what?
Yeah. It looks like it to me. They just walked right by them. That's why
Yeah,
I'm
and
interested to see what they do to Styles because they're after them for a specific reason.
mhm.
And they might not even have like, oh, you know what? They haven't gone to Scott or Allison or no, but they yeah, Scott or Allison or Styles. I was gonna say, I mean, like if it's their soul, I mean,
Not
their souls
quite.
are.
I mean, I think they kind of go after Scott a little bit in the next episode, or maybe he's more in protective mode. So he kind of they totally ignored him this episode because they were totally after Aiden, and then I don't know what they're gonna do the next episode. So they're kind of knocking them out one by one. Um, they
They're
haven't gone
damaged
after
though.
Peter, but they haven't really encountered Peter either. Peter's kind of MIA at the moment. Um,
Yeah, but they're damaged. That's what I'm saying. They're the ones that went under, right? They're the ones that went
right,
under, and I don't know if
right.
there's something wrong with their whatever it is that they don't want anything to do with that. That's why I'll be
Ugh.
interested to see if they try to do the same thing to either one of those
Mhm.
three.
Mhm.
Um, and Kira's standing there with her mouth open. I'm like, is your mouth open because you're in shock because these guys just appeared out of thin air, or because Scott's face went all crazy?
Probably a little bit of both. I mean, it's
Just
not every day that you see the boy you're like eyes turn red and almost like try and have this superhuman strength, or try and fight these shadow people.
yeah. But I wonder if she knows more than she's saying about what that is. I would think that her mother does for sure. Um, so I look forward to seeing a little bit more of that.
Mhm. Yep, yep.
Well, oh Styles, oh Styles, oh Styles.
Oh yeah, you finally get to make out with a girl and then you think of another clue. Really, Styles? You have the worst timing ever.
Yeah, I felt it was so funny when he was trying to explain that I have to go. I don't want to go. I would like to stay very much, but I
Yeah.
have to go. So it was cute, but a good episode. So I think there were three good episodes. Um, I'm excited to see the rest. Like I said, we're gonna have to wait on Grimm. From what I can tell, the following one will be back on Monday. And so will Teen Wolf, which is interesting, is they're like, we don't care about no Olympics. Um, so
Well, so at least we won't be totally, without TV to watch.
right, we'll throw something else in there during Grimm. Like I think you wanted to give a shout out to Arrow there.
Yes,
So
because Arrow just had a really good episode tonight, East Coast, so the West Coast still has to see it. But this season, I'm loving this season so far. Um, it's their sophomore season, so they're really stepping it up. And now I'm glad that they're actually going to do a Flash, the spinoff for Flash, and just yeah, I'm really digging it. What about you,
yes,
Kim?
yeah. So far so good. Maybe during Grimm's like hiatus because I think what so it's 3 weeks. The Olympics are 3 weeks. I don't.
Aren't they usually 2 weeks?
I don't know, but they said 3 weeks for Grimm, so you never know.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think maybe we could fit in a little bit of Arrow there. We can definitely fit in Helix.
Mhm.
That's been good. But yeah, so good things coming. But let's wrap up here. So as usual, we will go through our Twitter handles. I am at anime23. Both of us are at the Nerd Element. Natasha?
At Willcat12, WILLCAT 12.
Okay, guys, thanks for joining us, and we will talk to you next week.
Alrighty, bye.
Bye.